What's going on, guys? Welcome back to F1 23 for My Team Career Mode, Season 2, Round number 7, the French Grand Prix. It is our first time in France on F1 23 at the Paul Ricard circuit. Of course, this track, this country, is no longer on the F1 calendar, at least not at the moment. So yeah, not racing in France. Paul Ricard was never the best track anyway. To be honest, it's a track that I never hated. I think racing there in real life was never the best. In the games, it tended to be okay. It was definitely not one of the best tracks, but I wouldn't say it was one of the worst either. It was always a decent track, and I actually don't mind racing on this track. I find it a relatively fun track to race at. Looking at the R&D, we actually slightly catch up to Mercedes and Aston Martin going into this weekend. Aston Martin have actually caught right up. They're pretty much on top of Mercedes right now. We've still got Ferrari, who are just inching away from the rest of the pack. Williams have jumped past McLaren now as well, and are right kind of in that group with Haas, Ferrari, Alpine, Red Bull in that one as well. So getting very, very close with a lot of teams in that mid pack as we go into Q1 here. And yeah, like I said, I don't mind Paul Ricard. I think it's a decent track. I mean, to be honest, even in real life for the racing, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say it is. People really like to crap on Paul Ricard, but it's definitely not one of the best tracks in the world. I think in a lot of ways, kind of like Sochi, which I don't see we'll be racing at, well, maybe not ever again, to be honest, with the way things are at the moment with the world. But yeah, I always thought that Sochi was actually it wasn't the best track, but especially Sochi was really fun to drive on the game. I personally found I really enjoyed driving that track on the game, and this one I enjoy too. It's not one of the best, but it's pretty decent. We get through Q1, no real issues. We're a fair way down the order there in P12, but that is because I only really did one run, so didn't see the need to do a second run because I went quick enough in that first one. Q2 comes around and we're making improvements on this lap as well here. I believe this is on a brand new set of tyres, whereas I don't think it was quite a new set on the first lap. So yeah, we're making considerable gains here on this second lap. But yeah, I do enjoy this track. I think it is relatively fun. A lot of runoff in this one, but yeah, I think it's fine. I think it is a fine enough track, at least to drive on the game. As we now come across to cross the line for our Q2 lap, we ended up going P3 here. It's a British a United Kingdom 1, 2, 3, 4, which looks pretty crazy with all those Union Jacks. Logan Sargent outqualifies Alexander Albon for the first time in this career mode, so that's pretty big news there. He's up in P12. That Williams really showing performance now that it is ahead of McLaren and pretty much right on top of Haas, Red Bull, just behind Ferrari and Alpine. So yeah, that Williams potentially could be doing good. And yeah, Logan Sargent, of course, he's obviously stepping up here as well, out-qualifying Albon, who's been putting in some really good performances. Sargent has scored 1 point in this career mode so far. He scored a single point in Las Vegas, the final race of last season. He's yet to score in Season 2 though. Albon has scored a few points, I think 4 or 6 points or something in this season, but Sargent's still yet to get on the board in Season 2. So can he do it here, out-qualifying his teammate? Definitely a good start. We are on our third lap here, and yeah, things are going alright. It's a green first sector, it's a green second sector. We're not setting the world alight. My pace was decent here, but it wasn't amazing. Not really looking at a pole position here like we have had at a few races in the past recently, but yeah, good pace overall. Tsunoda seems to have pretty good pace as well, so there could be a good result for him in this race. We'll have to wait and see. But as we round the final corner, did struggle to get that corner right a couple of times. Always went a little bit too kind of wide going into the hairpin, the left-hander before the hairpin. It's kind of a hairpin, isn't it? We ended up in P5 in the end. Tsunoda's P3. It's a Mercedes 1-2 once again. It seems to be kind of the norm at the moment. Alonso in 4th. It's pretty much the same starting order, I think, as the last round. However, the two Mercedes are mixed around. So let's see what we can do starting from P5 on the grid for the French Grand Prix.
Hello and welcome from the circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. Now, it's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. So let's hope we see more of those in the race today. A lap of Paul Ricard then consists of 15 corners and a total length of around 3.6 miles. Drivers will need to position their cars carefully on the exit of the flat-out turn 10, ready for the double apex right-hander at 11. Watch out for potential overtaking action at the end of the start-finish straight and into the heavy braking zone of turn 8. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Davies, Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Perez, Verstappen, Gasly, Hamilton, Sargent, Ocon, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Doohan, Zhou, Liam Lawson, Magnussen, De Vries, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today. They've been involved in a number of costly incidents lately. That's got to affect their mindset going into this race.
Certainly confidence is an important factor, and every time you're involved in an accident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
Alright, so we're actually P4 on the grid as Lewis Hamilton takes a grid penalty from pole position. He's starting down in P11. That's big for our championship fight as we get underway. We're on the medium tyres. It's a bit of a splatter of tyre compounds here, with some on mediums, some on hards, as Yuki Tsunoda takes the lead into the first corner. Tsunoda, our teammate, leads the French Grand Prix as we head through the next corner there, and we've actually got Leclerc all over the back of us here as we head around this next part here. We've lost a little bit of time to Russell and Alonso and Tsunoda up ahead. Tsunoda's got a really good start here. I believe he's also on the medium compound tyres. Russell is as well. Alonso and then the two Ferraris behind us are on the hards. We're already coming under fire from those hard compound tyre runners though, so that's a bit strange, you know, hoping that on the softer compound of tyres we would be having a better start here, but we're coming under fire from Leclerc. We brake very late off the straight there though, but just about get it stopped in time. But we're really looking in our mirrors on this first lap, which is not what I was hoping. But yeah, Tsunoda's got a very good start, but it already looks like maybe Russell might be starting to reel him in a little bit. Alonso losing a bit of time to the two in the lead. With those hard compound tyres, we go quite wide around the next corner here, struggling a little bit. I don't know if it's just not getting our tyres up to temperature or what, but yeah, it's not been the best first lap here. We haven't lost a position, we haven't gained any positions either though, and we are losing time to the two in the lead. As you can see around this left-hander, just struggle a little bit around there, understeering, quite a bit of understeer in this first lap. So it's not been the perfect first lap, that is for sure. But we now cross the line. Tsunoda sets the fastest lap because he's the first one to cross the line, and he has kept the lead on this first lap. Well, he's got the lead on this first lap, so that's very exciting. Couple of laps in, DRS is now enabled. Alonso gets a little bit caught up on the curb, and that now gives us an opportunity to go for a move for P3 in this race. But he's going to fight it. We're going to go side by side through these few corners here, but we're just about going to slip our way ahead of the Spaniard, and we're now up into P3. So now the medium compound tyres coming into effect at this part of the race. And just in front of us, it looks like Tsunoda's got a problem. He's pulling to the side of the track, and that is Yuki Tsunoda, who is going to have his first mechanical failure for our team, and it's when he's leading the race. Tsunoda, from leading the race, will retire on lap number 3 of the French Grand Prix. It was looking so good for Tsunoda, but that's going to be 2 0-point finishes in a row for him, so that is not good. I mean, I don't know if he was going to hold on. Russell looked very quick, but a podium was definitely in the cards for Russell today, but unfortunately it is not to be. Hamilton trying to make his way through the order. He has got, I believe that is Sergio Perez in the Red Bull next to him as they go side by side up to this next very quick right hand corner. There is, who is that behind? That is one of the Alpines, I believe, Pierre Gasly behind. Hamilton, though, has gotten ahead of Perez, so up another position, trying to make his way through the order here after that grid penalty. Alonso's actually fallen behind Charles Leclerc after we overtook him, and is now looking to get back past the Monegasque driver. All three of these guys here on the hard compound tyres. Leclerc and Alonso still side by side though as they head up to the fast right-hander. Sainz looking around in the background. He's going to go into here as well. And they're going to go 3 wide around this fast corner. I think Sainz just backed out of it though. And then Leclerc has managed to get back past Alonso again after Alonso was looking to get back past him. But a big battle brewing here between the two Ferraris and Alonso in the Aston Martin. Alonso now trying to go to the outside of Leclerc into turn 1. Leclerc trying to defend it. Sainz is looking here though, and as they squabble up ahead, Alonso is now under fire from Carlos Sainz. You've got Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton just behind them as well. Big squabble of cars coming into this tricky section as we're about to head onto the main straight, the kind of back straight, whatever you want to call it, middle straight of this track. But yeah, big battle brewing there for those positions. We just kind of continue on. Russell is very quick. Russell, as we have a little bit of a twitch around that right-hander, Russell's very quick on those hard compound tyres. He's quicker than us on the hards. We're really struggling to keep up with him, but we are managing to get away from the Ferraris and Alonso, probably mainly because they're fighting so much. Both Ferraris now ahead of Alonso, but now they are fighting each other. Sainz trying, I think, at the moment to overtake Leclerc, and now Alonso might come back into this again. So as Sainz is trying to make the move on Leclerc, now it's going to be 3 wide here once again. This time it's Alonso on the inside, and it's Alonso past both of them by the time they get around the corner. Great little move there for Fernando Alonso, and he's now up ahead of both Ferraris once again. But this is the battle of the race, and it's one of the only battles going on, to be honest, or one of the only ones within the points anyway, as now Sainz gets back past Alonso. Leclerc's fallen back a little bit here, but they're all so close to each other, and there's these big straights that he is still very much in this fight. And sure enough, Sainz has made a little bit of a breakaway here. Alonso is now falling back into the clutches of Charles Leclerc, who's going to try and go round the outside of the fast right-hander, and he's going to stay side by side around the next right-hander as well. But Alonso will just about hold on to that position at that point in time. And yeah, a nice little battle brewing there. Is on lap number 13, I believe. We come into the pits a little bit wide, really difficult to kind of see where you're going, especially when you have the racing line on the braking line, to see where you are supposed to go into the pits. It's a good pit stop by the team, very good, and we're going to come out in what is that, like P11 or something, because there's quite a lot of other cars, hard tyre runners ahead of us. We only just get out ahead of this battle happening behind us between Doohan, I think that's De Vries, and a couple of other cars back there. So we only just get ahead of those guys, and now we come and go past Fernando Alonso, who's come into the pits for his medium compound tyres. So we have a decent gap on Alonso now, but he's going to be quick on those medium compound tyres till the end of the race. Logan Sargent, after his amazing qualifying, is doing a very good job. I mean, look at him here. He's fighting. He's only just behind the Ferraris here, so he's at the back end of the top 10, like P8, P9. So he's doing a very good job. He's got the 2 McLarens behind him and one of the Alpines as well. As now another one of the Alpines. No, I think this is Pierre Gasly going for a move on Logan Sargent, because he's now managed to get past the McLarens who are fighting just behind. And that is a very nice move there from Gasly. But Sargent's going to try and fight this one back. They're going to go side by side. Late braking for Logan Sargent. Good to see him battling here. We haven't seen a lot from Sargent in this career mode, but he's really putting up a good fight now and doing a very good job ahead of his teammate and battling for decent enough points for Williams in this race. Hamilton's still trying to make his way through the order. He's in this massive train. I mean, look at the train of cars here. I mean, this late on in the race to have such a big train just shows you how close the field really is. He's trying to now go for a move on Max Verstappen. He got past one Red Bull early on in the race. He's now trying to get past the other one. as they head side by side round that corner, and Hamilton's just about gone ahead. That Mercedes quite a bit quicker than the Red Bull at this point in the career mode. Lap number 23 of 27, and now Alonso is all over the back of us. He was catching us at a rate of knots, and I just knew he was going to get past us. He has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He is the fastest man on track right now. Russell is on hard tyres, so maybe Russell was actually on the mediums before. I didn't quite notice that. I thought he was on hards, but perhaps not, because he's on the hards now. Alonso, though, is going to absolutely breeze past us on the straight. There's not really much we can do about that. But as we head around this next corner, he brake checks us a little bit, and we've made contact. We've got wing damage. We had front left wing damage last time out in... Was it Austria or Canada where we had front wing damage? I think we might have had damage at both tracks, actually. But we've now got wing damage here as well. Front right wing damage. It's not a lot. It's not really a lot at all. But it is making us a little bit slower. As you can see, we've already lost a considerable amount of time a couple of laps later to Alonso. We have to be careful of the two Ferraris, to be honest. They are fighting each other behind, but there is a chance that if they stop fighting each other, they can pull themselves along to catch up to us and maybe steal a podium from us in this race. But yeah, lap number 26 of 27, the two Ferraris are fighting each other. They're not doing themselves any favours here. They are catching us slowly, but they would be catching us so much quicker if they weren't fighting. But I guess there's just a bit of a rivalry between these two guys, because of course, Leclerc won the championship last season. He's got the number 1 on his car. Sainz, though, in a lot of ways is doing a better job than Leclerc this season. I'm not sure if he is actually ahead in the championship, but it's very close between them. But as we head round, George Russell wins the race. So finally someone other than myself and Lewis Hamilton wins a race in Season 2. We round the final corner. Leclerc is now within a second of us. He actually has DRS coming down the straight, but it's not going to matter. We're just about gonna bring home a podium. It's P3 for us, which isn't a terrible result, but when you consider that Tsunoda DNF'd, we haven't really made any places, and yeah, we were getting caught by the Ferraris. Another lap and we would have been overtaken by those two, so it's still a podium for us, but not the best race. We do beat Hamilton, though.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the whole team at Mercedes. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Quite simply, a driver is nothing without the team behind them. So, a deserved winner, but we do have to give a shout out to the team in the pit lane and back at the factory. Very much a collaborative process.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So there we have it. George Russell wins his first race of the season. Fernando Alonso, with another P2 finish. Very good from him. Aston Martin, I'm pretty sure I've had a podium every race apart from the first race of the season in Saudi, where they had a terrible time with both cars. They've had a podium every race since. 2 for Stroll. I think this is now, what, 3 for Alonso, maybe even 4. Yeah, I think it'd be 4. So, yeah, pretty good for them. It's P3 for us, so it's another good podium finish for us. We've been on the podium every race apart from China, so very good for us. And we do beat Hamilton, who ends up finishing a P7. Not a great race from Hamilton. Logan Sargent, though, I mean, P8 for Logan Sargent. What a result for him. That is amazing. Albon only manages P14, so he falls down the order. Well, actually, he doesn't move from where he started, but what a result from Sargent for P8. 4 points for him. And yeah, we extend our lead over Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship, but yeah, it was definitely not the best race from Hamilton. I'm sure it's going to be not long though until we haven't had a mechanical failure all season. Tsunoda's failure this time out, one, pushes him down the order to P11, but also a little bit worrying because, yeah, we haven't had a mechanical failure yet, so I'm a bit worried that it is to come soon. And our next race is Hungary. We haven't had much luck in previous F1 games in Hungary, whether that is on pace or with mechanical failures. We've had a couple of mechanical failures there. I haven't actually recorded the Hungary race as of recording this, so I don't know how it's going to go, but yeah, I'm not massively hopeful. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.